Pause. If you could all stand for the next, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, as this is a special meeting,
Hold on.
we are hearing,
Hold on. Did the neighbor ever identify themselves?
not
If
yet.
not, you gotta pull the plug. 'Cause
Have
they can
not-
join, but they have to identify themselves.
I've asked them to please do so. We are waiting for you to identify yourself so we can add you to the attendance, please. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay,
Oh, you did. Okay, I didn't see that.
all right, so we do have public comment. I see we have a few visitors here. Is there anyone making public comment, or we're just here for the regular agenda? Jamie?
Thank you.
Okay,
Jamie Sterling, 20 Miller Road. I'd like to thank you, Paula, well, first of all, thank you all for serving. Tough job, and I appreciate you doing it. Second, Paula, I appreciated seeing in your comments in the bulletin, a little paragraph about the road safety for pedestrians, bicyclists, and horses.
which I do frequently.
Yeah, I haven't seen it before. It's great to see it. I think it's a good start to find ways to make our streets safer for non-car uses.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that, speaking of safety and using our roads as speedways, that there may be a development at the end of Miller Road that's been talked about for a long time that might want to open up Miller Road to that development. And if there's anything about that that comes through town hall, I know that many of us who live
You
on
can
Miller
call
Road
us.
would
I know,
appreciate
he's
Yeah,
talking
additional
about.
calls.
Yeah. We are aware, and we are monitoring that. So, and that's all I'm gonna say, because this is just public comments, so you can put your comments on record. That's all.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I'm interested in as much information as the town receives about that whenever it comes in.
Me too.
I've also heard that the solar farm may switch from a siting council issue to a town issue because the size of the farm might be less than 1 gig or 1 meg, whatever that number is. And again, if there's more information about that that comes to the town, getting that out to the residents as quick as possible would be appreciated.
Mhm.
And then the last item is, I was disappointed that at the last meeting, you added an item to the agenda that wasn't noticed. I know that's allowed under the rules. That's not my objection. My objection is that the item, 824 item is a controversial issue in town. It wasn't on the agenda. Didn't look to me like there was any particular need to move it that rapidly. It could have waited to this meeting. But, so I just wanted to say that generally, it's important to make sure that residents are informed of your meeting agendas beforehand, and then adding things to the agenda, especially when they're controversial, either indicates a lack of trust in the residents viewing the agenda or an over reliance on the attorney bringing something to the table at the last minute. And so those are my comments for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Captain Sylvester, 55 Old Amity Road, Bethany. I would just like to echo the last part of Jamie's comments. I think he put it very eloquently with regard to lack of notice regarding an agenda item involving something that many members of our community are very concerned about last minute. And the result was that it's put on the planning and zoning agenda for tonight without any opportunity for public comment. Although public comment maybe makes people uncomfortable, it may, be embarrassing, or may, people just don't want to be bothered with it. It's really an important part of our community. It's important to have public participation. It's also important to have public buy-in. And I just feel that the alleged lease revision wasn't necessary. It could have been put on tonight's meeting. That way the public would have had an opportunity to review it, had an opportunity to comment on it. The planning and zoning committee would have an opportunity to have their own public hearing on the issue. Now they don't. Now they're compelled to make a decision on it tonight without any public comment. So that's just my concern.
Oh, we're all good? Okay. Item number 2, approval of.
Speak.
I know, just kind of like walking in right where you were, so
Public comment. Any comment?
on anything.
Anything?
And I apologize, I don't know your name.
I'm Captain Sylvester.
Hi, nice to meet you, Steve, Winter, Johnson Road.
What number?
Again, I kind of the same thing that, when I was at the last P and Z meeting, we were told that there was going to be a lease revision presented, and then it was brought to your, meeting off agenda, no public, warning about it, no chance for public comment on it. I was kind of disappointed as the voice here in town to say that we didn't really feel like we had the opportunity to have any say in this. This is, obviously, now this has become a bit of a hotbed issue that most people, don't have any. And as a member of the fire department, everyone in town supports the fire department. But there's been some confusion as to this project. And if your allegiance is in question, as far as this project, then you don't support the fire department. And it's been sort of a gray issue. And I think this type of, bringing it and legal maneuvering and kind of quietly doing it, or just public perception that was done quietly, is not in good favor in the eyes of the taxpayers, in the eyes of the voters, and the eyes of the people who are, ultimately should be the ones making the decision of it. This is public land. It is not the fire department's land. They don't own the building. They don't own the equipment. They're guests there. They have privilege to use it. And I'm grateful to be part of the organization. I'm grateful that they appear to serve us. But I think the public is the ones who decide what gets done with that property. And how the fire department is allowed to use it.
Steve, what number are you on? One second.
59.
59, thank you, thank you. Okay, item number 2, approval of minutes from the June 6, 2023 regular meeting. Has everyone?
So moved.
Okay. Liz,
No comments, a second.
I didn't get a second, okay. Any corrections or?
Not this
Sure.
time, it looks okay to me.
Okay, I'll call the vote. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, unanimous, perfect. We do not have any tax refunds for tonight, and we do not have any cemetery fees for tonight. I do have 2 individuals who Chief Kogel has recommended, and actually they showed up the next day very quickly to be sworn in, to be added to the list for fire police. It's Regina Milano and James Hirschfield. So if I can have a motion to approve those 2 individuals.
What is fire police? Can you just clarify
They,
what that
they
means?
go to the scenes of accidents or scenes of fire, they direct traffic and they. Pretty much, right?
Typically, that is what they're used for. They're not interior firefighters. They are people who are allowed to help on the fire ground, but a lot of it is either crowd control or traffic control when you have a need arises to close a road for public safety.
Are they volunteers then?
Everybody's volunteer.
Okay, so they're just,
And God
they have
bless them,
some
good
training to do what they're doing.
Yes.
I'm fine, sure, I don't know who they are, but
They've been showing up as enthusiastic members for over years.
I'm happy they are.
So Liz, you're gonna make that motion?
Sure.
I'll second that.
And you'll second. Any other further discussion, or I'll call the vote, all in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that's unanimous, terrific, I will let Chief know. They've already been sworn in, so, number 6. Russell Road, I think we're just waiting for feedback from the owners with regard to.
Yes, we got in the estimates on the remediation for the asbestos in the house. We believe the high-end number is about $30,000, give or take. And so the recommendation, the proposal that we made to the seller was that the town would pay $169,000, which was the asking price. And then we would escrow $30,000 out of the 169 to be held by the town to utilize for the remediation. And upon the completion of and this would allow us to close
Mhm.
with the 30,000 being held back in escrow. The proceeds would be drawn down, and any monies left over from those after the remediation would be released to the seller.
Right, we'll give them the bills, the
Right.
exact bills, whatever. it
We'll give an
costs.
accounting. So that was the proposal I made to Mr. Cavalier on Friday.
Now, how are we doing with the 60 days? Did the clock reset with the 60-day offer or whatever?
Well, right now we haven't gotten a true acceptance of any offer.
No,
yet.
but our first 60 days,
Yeah, well, Mr. Cavalier didn't get my email. My email was in his inbox, but he didn't see it.
Oh.
So that was, I think, around Memorial Day.
Right, that's what I'm saying, the 60 days is getting,
Right, so, so I had the conversation with him on Friday, and then I said, let me memorialize what I said to you in an email, so that there's no confusion as to what the offer is. And, we're waiting to hear back from him right now.
Who's responsible for then removing the asbestos, the owner?
Well,
Who's gonna hire?
that-
well,
the-
that's,
yeah, go ahead.
that's the whole thing. There's the building is there, it's. The roof is caved in, the kitchen's in the basement, the base used to be on the first floor,
Right,
it's a
right.
disaster.
I know it's a mess, yeah,
So I got a price of $10,000 to remove the building,
right,
plus another give or take 20,000 at the most to put it in dumpsters and take it away to the asbestos dumpster.
right.
Because the whole building is contaminated.
So we would do that, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, we would do that
Yes,
with the $30,000 in escrow. And then if it costs us 25, we'll give him 5,000 more. If it
Well, I
costs
get
us-
that, I just want to know who was responsible
Well,
before it
it's-
changed hands.
It's,
So-
well, it would be the seller's responsibility for payment. Okay, but, so ultimately it's the seller's responsibility is what we're saying.
Right,
Obviously, that's subject to negotiation. A seller could say, no, I'll sell it. I'm selling it whereas.
as is, yeah.
And, you have to decide what you want to do. That may result in a lower, sales price because of that. So it's kind of what we've done here is to say, we'll meet you at a point where probably no other buyer is going to meet you. We'll put up all the money and then we'll hold back the money.
No, I understand, I
Right.
just want to know liability, who's doing what.
Well,
So
the town.
Before we're
approved-
taking
right, well,
possession, we're gonna. abate
Right, the town
asbestos and all
approved
that, and then we'll-
169,900, whatever the number was.
$169,900.
We can't spend any more than that, so we will get a cleared, safe lot. When everything is done for
I
169.
get
Right.
it, but we,
Whatever.
the town of Bethany is putting our name as the responsible party for
Yes.
carting away the asbestos.
Yes,
Yeah,
Rather
we'll
than
do
the
the
owner.
hiring of the people, because we got the quotes from the companies to do the job.
Who's gonna do it?
don't know yet. I got 3 prices so far. I got 2 prices so far. And the third price is gonna be coming from Otto it's in Bethany, Connecticut. Across the street from the soccer field. I forget the name of the company, but
Yeah,
they're in town. It's where the storage units are and everything.
as long as they're, approved asbestos remediation.
Oh, no,
Professional.
yeah, no,
We're good,
we're good.
that's good.
So when it all is said and done, they're gonna clear the lot, they're gonna clear the foundation, they're gonna clear the septic tank. We'll have a raw piece of land ready to go,
Okay,
if Mr. Cavalier and the seller approves.
he's gotta get back to us. and
Right,
give us the-
we're just waiting for
Okay,
their feedback, so, at this point. So,
that's
okay,
good.
so that's the update on that. Next item is discussion and possible action on acceptance of Clifford Road, and I believe this may be the moment in time.
You ready?
Let's all mark this one down.
Are you ready?
Let me.
Yeah, I
Not
don't get
upset,
too
let
excited.
me
but
not
yeah.
upset dessert, but it's your decision. So what I put together is this packet for you. It has, I kind of called it the checklist. So I went through the ordinance, chapter 166, just to make sure we were doing everything we needed to do. Now, for purposes of acceptance of the road, and I included a copy of the ordinance in with the material that I gave to you. And I'm sorry if the pages are not numbered, but it's somewhere, if you split the package in about half, you'll get to section 166-16. And that is the section that deals with final acceptance. Now, in order for the selectmen, or I should say, before the selectmen may accept any road, the following documents must be submitted. There's an inspection report signed and sealed by the engineer engaged by the owner stating that the road has been built in accordance with the specs of the town of Bethany and according to the approved plans. So that's the first document.
Exhibit A, right?
Then I attached a copy of an inspection letter that the town's engineer provided. Okay, so I'm just gonna come back to that in a moment. Number 2 is the as-built, and the as-built is attached as exhibit B. Now, what I did is this, if you're gonna read this ordinance in a strict constructionist type of way, the inspection report is not signed and sealed by the engineer engaged by the owner. It is the town's engineer. All right, but the town engineer has inspected the road and says that it is built in accordance with the town's standards. So what I did was I prepared a resolution for the acceptance of the road, and I made, let me go to that, that is attached in,
Should be the first page or second page
Uh,
for your cover.
yeah, so it's
Oh,
maybe like
should be
5 or
beginning.
6 pages deep. So what I did with respect to that issue is state that, but again, before the selectmen may accept any, whereas before this, the board of selectmen may accept any road and inspection reports on and sealed by the engineer engaged by the owner, saying that the road has been built in accordance with the specs of the town and according to the approved plans, and an as-built be submitted. And then I say, whereas on October 28, 2022, David L. Napis inspected the dedicated right-of-way and opined that it is acceptable for the acceptance by the town. I define that as the inspection report. And whereas the Board of Selectmen find that the inspection report satisfies section 166-16A(1) of the town code. That's gonna be up to you. Technically, it's not the owner's engineer. All right, the point is you want to have, I think the purpose of the section of the ordinance is that you have an engineer who has basically signed off on this road as being built in accordance with the town specs.
Right. Well-
Town's engineer says it has been.
Well, personally, I would rather have our town engineer, Mr. Navis, write that it's a fine and proper road than their engineer, not that I'm degrading their engineer, but Dave does a nice job.
I just,
I went over the road with Dave, it was
Right.
done very,
So-
it's a good road.
I feel he's gonna be more honest with us.
right, well,
More-
but that's not what your ordinance requires. So, so that's the point. And
Well,
so,
then maybe you should change the ordinance,
Well,
because it should read, in my opinion, that our engineer accepts the road.
well, that's something to take up with the town meeting, but for purposes of tonight,
Yeah.
I think of by you making a finding that this inspection report satisfies that, this way, if it's ever questioned, at least there's something on record saying that this issue was addressed and you felt that what you had before you satisfied the section of the ordinance. So, because otherwise someone could challenge the acceptance saying, wait a second, you didn't comply with the ordinance.
Okay, well, I'll make that motion then that we accept as written to allow our engineer to find that the road is in proper shape, and we accept the road as
Okay,
written.
and what I did is because I didn't have all, when I originally created this resolution, I didn't have all the information that I needed because I was having problems connecting with Lena. But so on the back of your packet, there are 2 pages. And all I needed was when the subdivision was approved. And so I simply said, whereas the Bethany Planning and Zoning approved a 5-lot subdivision known as Clifford Drive Estates.
Mhm.
Because I couldn't get the actual date of approval from Lena.
Right,
So
so
I
roughly
just-
2011, whatever.
Yeah, actually it went back to 01. Is what she sent to me. So, but in any event, so this page is going to replace this page in the packet.
Which,
This is
This
This other-
resolution,
yeah? There's 2 resolutions.
yeah, there's 2 resolutions, because,
This one,
yes,
the one that's.
Well,
over here?
if it makes a difference, Mr. Woodward approached the planning and zoning years ago. I was on the planning and zoning department 18 years ago, I don't know, whatever it was. And it was never accepted. He wanted to do 12 divisions, then 10 lots, and then 6 lots, and this, that, and the other thing. It was finally allowed probably a few years ago to go,
So this one,
oh, it's
so
built
this
on a
one
road.
is the second page?
and the second page is gonna go in front of that second page.
Okay, all right.
So,
I mean, but that's either near or there.
Right.
So as far as accepting of the lot,
I
I
just adopt the resolution
as written.
as written, okay? That will accept it. Now, there are 3,
That's for this only.
right, there are
Only
3,
Accepting-
Clifford Drive.
Accepting Clifford Drive.
Right,
The
there-
road, not just the road.
there are 3 actions that the ordinance, I believe, requires this body to take. One is acceptance. 2 is under section 166-13. The Board of Selectmen must approve the names of the street
I
names.
saw that, yeah.
And that's
So-
Clifford Drive.
Yeah, but we should approve the name after we accept it. We don't,
Okay.
we don't want to, right? So that's going to be
That's the second page, right?
that, exactly.
That's the second page.
Exactly,
Okay.
and then there is, let me see here, one other action, and that is on page 4. The proposed action is to set a maintenance bond,
Hmm.
okay, because under the ordinance 166-16 C, the board must set the amount of the maintenance bond. Now, I discussed with Lena, what we had on hand. Because what it's supposed to be is a number that is 20% of the construction bond. Or a higher number as determined by the board of selectmen. And what we have on hand is a surety bond for $65,000 and change because it goes back so long. So my recommendation is 20% of that for maintenance purposes is not adequate. My recommendation is that you set the amount of the current bond that the town is holding as the amount of the maintenance bond, which is
How long does that last for?
until it's released.
No, how long do we hold the bond?
1 year.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
So
they already paid it years and years ago.
it's a surety bond that was paid in 07.
Okay, so is there a separate motion?
So, yeah, so your first action is gonna be to accept, which I
Okay.
believe,
That's the chief.
I made the motion to
Right.
accept as written.
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry, you said it was paid in 2007?
2007.
This poor gentleman and
Been
it
sitting on it all
he
these
passed
years?
away before it ever got finished.
Yes.
Yeah, I
But
guess
it
I
finally
need
got
the
finished.
history of this. Wow.
Yeah, it's. Yes.
So tortured.
Yeah.
There are a lot of slopes, so.
It's a
so,
big,
well,
it's a big rock.
Right, and before you take action, now that you know what you must do, right?
Yes.
Now let me explain why it's kind of been lingering from month to month to month since I think November. Is when we first started with Ms. Sudak, is that I explained in an email everything that we needed. The inspection report, and I actually said of the owner, but so be it, we have ours. I said I need the actual easements, the drainage easements, the conservation easements, the slope easements. And I'd like to have those documents in advance of the Board of Selectmen acting. Because if we accept the road, then the professionals move on to their next project and we never get the documents we need. So that's why this has been carried forward, and now there's pressure because people want to buy these lots. I got, and that's attached to the back of this, I have the deed conveying the road to the town.
Okay.
And I got 3 drainage easements.
Yep.
The problem is that there's also a drainage and slope easement and 3 conservation easements that still have to be gotten from the developer.
But that's nothing to do with the road itself.
So, no, so if you look at the ordinance, you have everything you need to accept this road. All right, again, the reason why we haven't accepted it is because we're afraid that they'll just disappear and we won't get the easements that we need. Now, I've spoken with, well, the attorney is on vacation this week, but I spoke with the surveyor, and I said, I'm missing conservation easements. And there was kind of a pause, and I said, well, this is the document you created, right? The map, and it says conservation easements on it, but where are my conservation easements? So I sent out an email today confirming what I was in receipt of and what I needed. And I'm waiting to hear a response back, but I was told from Beaman Chow's office that it would be forthcoming. So I said, based on the fact that they do a lot of work in this town and that they're making a representation that we're gonna get it, and they made that direct to me, that I would say to the selectmen tonight, as I've already said, by ordinance, you have everything you need to accept this road. You have the inspection report as found by you to be adequate, and you have the as-built. So if you want to accept it, you can accept it. If you want to defer it 1 more month, so we have 100% of the documents, it'll just carry forward on the agenda and we will not take anything off the agenda. So
Again, I would make the motion to accept as written,
As written per town engineer's inspection.
right, and accept the road.
all right.
Well, let's
As-
do one at it, let's do
Well, no,
one at a
right,
time.
as,
Yeah.
as written to accept the road.
How come our engineer is not here this evening on such an important matter has been dragging?
Well, we
on?
have a letter from him saying that.
I know,
that-
it'd be nice to hear here anyway. That's just-
You'd have to pay him for that.
Yeah, and that's the other side. We are paying him rather than.
Well, we
having
would have to pay him any.
Yeah.
Are we-
because
You would you would
right, our
never-
engineer has to
would
look at
Still
it.
want to
you
look
would-
at what
You would
the
never not,
client's engineer.
your engineer would need to verify.
When we were doing our drainage, put aside, when we were doing a lot of our road projects in the last couple of years, Amadeo Road. A couple different roads, when we milled down to dirt, so they didn't do the road properly. So whether our engineer was involved or not, who knows? So we had our engineer go out there and actually watch them, measure, make sure everything was done to code.
And for whatever it's
And it
worth,
is.
the practice of this town, and this is my first road acceptance with the town of Bethany. But the practice of this town has been to do it exactly like this, where the town engineer has issues an opinion as to that the road was built. So what you're doing tonight is in lockstep with what the Board of Selectmen has done repeatedly in the past on road acceptances.
Okay.
So for whatever it's worth, and I got that from Lena.
As far as I know.
How long? I
How
just
long
think,
has
how long
Mr. been our engineer? Forever.
Yeah, a very long time.
Yes.
I never met the guy.
We don't use him very often because we don't have very many engineering projects to do. But he's pretty sharp. I mean,
He's
Yep.
come out on other issues too, not just road stuff, but like Lebanon Road had an issue.
right,
And
no,
he came
Dave
up
comes
and-
right out and figures it out and draws it up for us. But I mean, we need something. And then the good thing about an engineering stamp, if it's not built correctly, he stamped it, it's on him.
Is he a PE?
But that would be.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, then I'm good.
But his
And-
stamp is
and-
also on his letter,
Yes.
but his stamp is also on his letter,
Must be old.
his inspection letter.
Yeah.
Stamp is on his inspection letter as well.
Okay, I'm okay.
Okay,
All right.
So, okay, so first thing we're doing is to accept as written per the town engineer's
to
inspection,
accept the road.
to
Right.
accept the road, right?
What's he gonna name it?
Well,
It's
that's
already
next.
Clifford Drive.
That's
It is
next.
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
Don't get ahead of yourself. We'll get into that.
Ah,
Touche.
Well, Don Shea Drive.
Or
do you
Mr.
think?
Woodward Drive would be my
Okay,
choice. but-
then the second thing is the name.
We have to
Well, the second thing is the maintenance.
We have
Oh,
to
we have
vote,
to-
we have to
we have to
vote.
vote
we have to
first.
vote
I'm sorry,
first.
we have to vote. We have to motion in the second. So all in favor to accept the road as written for the engineer's inspection.
Aye,
Aye.
okay.
Yay.
Now, if you
Now
turn
do
the
it.
page about 5, there's
That's this one, right?
proposed action, no, that,
Oh, you're doing this one
this
first.
is, this
You're
is
doing
not,
this one
I
first,
didn't do it
okay.
the way of an extended resolution. This is simply a motion to require that a maintenance bond for Clifford Drive in the amount of 65,352.72.
That's a way to do her name first.
Then we're gonna name last.
Oh, okay.
We always save the ceremonial stuff for the end.
Okay. And again,
Pop open the champagne.
and again, I have no issue since they posted the bond back in 07. We've held it since 07.
Right.
I have no problem holding it for one more year.
Wow.
What's one more year?
What's one more year? It's been 16 already.
Wow.
Right. And it's supposed to be 20% of,
But that's
But-
not.
But
enough.
again,
but
That's only
20
12,000. That's.
well, 20%, it's 20% of the original construction bond was 265.
Oh, okay.
So 265, where's the-
26,000.
Yeah, so, you know, you're have an adequate amount on hand in the event that there's a problem with
Right,
this
so
road.
I, if they have no issue, do they have any issue giving us, letting us keep the 65?
Well, it's a surety bond. It's not like it's cash, right?
So they paid for
They
it
just
already,
gotta have to pay for another year.
so I got no problem. I would vote to keep the $65,000
This
bond.
motion right here.
What that,
It's in the packet.
The proposed action,
I can't find the
It's like
fact, let me see that.
Yeah.
I'll read it real
I'm just
quick.
gonna write.
I'll read it for the record.
I'm
Okay,
just gonna
So
copy.
motion to require a maintenance bond for Clifford Drive in the amount of $65,352.72, which can satisfy through maintenance bond number 266566 with Northeast Surety LLC, surety bond specialist, 3 Forest Road, Farmington, blah, blah, blah. So I will make a motion to accept this as written, to hold the $65,352.72 for one more year.
and what we should do is just calendar, the board should calendar for a year from, because tech.
Okay, July till July 1st, 2024.
Because you'll have to vote to release it at that. point.
So
It
July
would be,
1st,
it would be our
2024.
July meeting, 2024.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a
Okay,
second to
any
that?
other,
I'll second that.
one, okay.
Now you
Liz?
gotta vote.
Now, all in favor of this proposed motion? Aye, okay,
Now-
unanimous.
now
Now,
you need-
ceremonial.
Right, so now if you look at the first resolution, which is page 2.
Page
Page
two.
2
Where
in the
is it?
packet.
Another resolution should be page 2.
Yeah, I simply.
The naming, the second page in the
Yeah,
packet.
Right, that's
So,
right, yeah,
section 16614 requires that the Board of Selectmen approve the street name.
sure.
And so we might as well do what we're
I
required
don't
to
know,
do.
Don, what do you think?
Well, Woodward Drive would have been nice, because Mr. Woodward, but he's passed away, so whoever came up with the name of Clifford, that's on them. I don't care.
Well, you're right. So
Well-
you're approving the proposed street name of Clifford Drive as the name of the dedicated right of way now, which is now a public road.
Right,
One road to
Motion to
plow.
accept the Clifford Drive.
sure, second.
Oh, I was giving you the motion.
Well, I'll
Oh,
second.
I make the motion. That's right.
I'll second.
Okay.
Where?
Off of
It's
Mesa. You
half
go
it on
Pawnee,
Mesa.
Take
Half it on Mesa to
Pawnee
the
left on Mesa.
It's about a 150-yard dead end.
It's got 5
Little
lots,
cul-de-sac.
which I believe a few of them have already been.
I think they're all,
They're
they're just waiting.
Yeah.
They can't build until we approve. the road.
So, yeah,
Well, they
so
can't-
I will,
Can't sell until you approve the road.
I will email Mr. Cavalier later,
Right,
and
let
give
him
him
know.
the fond news. All in favor of the name Clifford Drive?
Aye.
Unanimous. Yay! One thing we can take off the agenda. Okay. Obviously, no action with the welcome sign for the town. The gentlemen have not gotten back to me. And like I said previously, the ball's in their court because it's actually quite expensive to maintain the sign
So
if they so
haven't,
choose to do it. So
they haven't said anything.
they have not come back to me at all.
Okay.
So I keep it on there as a holding place. Should they show up, we can certainly take action on it, but at this point right now, I think they're trying to digest all of the whole packet that I gave them from the state, so that's that. But Liz, excuse me, Leslie gave me a quick little update on some of our projects
Okay,
for the grants.
yep,
And under ARPA, the Board of Finance will receive an available funds update at their July meeting prior to discussing potential projects for Bethany nonprofits. We just closed the fiscal year last Friday, so
Happy New
doing
Year.
some catch up and kind of reconciling some things. So Board of Finance will get an update on
right,
that.
and I just saw you, your meeting's not next week, it's the week after.
Right, right. On the steep, 3/4 of the work is complete. Quarterly report being filed with the state for reimbursements for work completed to date. Cabrera, the funds, the funds have made it to our bank, so engineering work is underway, and Don, any kind of timeframe with work starting.
I spoke to the architect today. I should have drawings by July 25th. I'll go up to bid July 27th. I want to start the annex Labor Day weekend, the day after Labor Day weekend, whatever day that is, June, September, or whatever, to finish the annex to mirror the Board of Ed annex. Then we'll jump into these windows and then we'll do the gym.
So you're gonna
And then
start
we'll
with
do the gym,
annex.
the last is the gym.
Well, the gym is, there's 3 different phases. The first phase is, the problem, not the problem, the issue is the park and rec. They have 120 kids for the summer camp,
Still using.
so they
okay,
need
so
the
it's already-
annex and the gym.
all right.
So I gotta wait,
So
I
we're
gotta put it off to
working
Labor
around-
Day. So
yeah.
Labor Day, they lose the annex till I'm done. They can have the gym before school and after school.
Mhm.
Once the annex is done, then I'll take the gym and up till the gym is done. Then Rose's money, well, I'm jumping
If
ahead.
we ever see it.
Rose's money, once the gym is done and the annex is done, then we'll get Rose's money, we'll do the rest of town hall. Which will include this end of the building. And repoint the outside of the building, clean up the outside. And then we'll have to take some more,
The sound
Public
system
comment.
is happening.
the sound system that'll be phase 2, that'll be part of the gym,
Is that part of
That's
Cabrera's money?
Cabrera's.
yes.
Yes, that's good.
Okay, that, to me, that's like. Most important out of everything.
Well, we now we
Most
have
vis-
his
most
money, so
visible.
yeah, now we have his money, so now we can move forward with those projects.
Right, but that's, again, it's a process. I can't put a sound system in until. The HVAC and the walls and the floor and the paint and the ceiling and da
It's
da
like
da da da.
synchronized,
Sound
yeah.
system and floor are last. So once everything else is done, then the new sound system will be put in.
is it gonna be in before the election?
Don't know.
That's-
In the best of worlds, yes. Stuff happens, don't know.
So, but like you started with the Dolores, basically all of our paperwork is complete. We're just waiting,
We got approved,
engineering
right.
work. You're working with an architect to.
Right.
Who's managing that? What department is it?
Facilities.
No, she means through Rosa Dolores' office. Oh my gosh,
Who knows?
I'd have
We
to ask.
we got approved in December.
They're
And
not-
we're still
yeah,
waiting
no.
to sign a contract.
No,
So
we-
it's-
we-
But
applied
they,
for it
OPM
almost-
hands it out to different.
We applied for it almost a year ago. Off the top of my head, Liz, I don't know. I'd have to check with Jen. I
Just
honestly don't know off the top of my head.
And unfortunately, as you guys can tell, the HVAC system is part of Rose's grant.
Yes, as we sit here.
So that's why we're sweating a little bit,
Yeah,
but
the whole school.
Better than it used to be.
better than it used to be, but
Yeah.
next year it'll be very nice.
Okay, so the last grant, which we got thrown a little curveball last week, apparently.
I thought that was a surefire.
Well, here's the thing,
Related to-
the approval has now been delayed by the state until August, and the funding timeline has changed. And if it's approved, apparently we will not get the funds until a year from now.
And because.
Well. let me tell-
Your guess is as good as I asked for
Okay.
that. That's an email I sent this afternoon. What happened?
Yes, so the Department of Transportation put aside $5 million for a trip grant.
Yeah,
And each cog was going to get,
get their own, yeah,
well, not each cog.
Yeah.
Each cog who had a rural town and blah,
Yeah,
It
blah,
was eligible.
right,
yeah.
right, right,
$5 million.
right.
They got 23 applications for $30 million.
Yeah, I think the funds had increased, but then so did the number of
Right,
applications.
so
that
they
came
got,
in.
so people, $30 million worth of
So they had
applications.
to
for
hire
trip
extra
grant.
people to now go through all of these.
Right, so we were told
applications.
originally that if it was approved and great, with the engine, and we were ready to rock and roll, the funds will be in the bank before July 1st.
And that is now not true.
So then we got an email the other day saying $30 million was applied and and then the funds are not available till next August.
July,
Well,
next July.
July,
Then
whatever.
again,
Well, no, the problem is, this road has to be done.
right,
We were gonna put it in as a
Do
capital.
it ourselves. if we
right,
don't
right,
get
right.
And we said, oh, no, the state said, no, so we said,
We'll
okay,
know by
cool.
the beginning of June, we'll have the money by the beginning of July, and we're good to
And
go.
our budget's based on that too.
Yes,
Yep.
No,
Well,
but
it's in the capital budget for
For next
next
year.
year as a place.
is it right? So next year, we will put it in the budget because, well, I shouldn't say that. We'll know in 2 months, 3 months, if it's in next year's budget.
okay,
If
So
we're-
we'll know in a few months if we're gonna be able to do the project next year. But the problem is, we submitted prices from 7
Now,
months ago,
yeah.
okay?
God knows
So
what
now
will
when,
change
when
the date.
next August rolls around, we're a year and a half down the road, do we have the money to do that project?
it sounded too good to be true, didn't it?
No,
They were so adamant that, well, it's just gonna turn around so quickly, you'll have the money.
That
And this
should have
was-
made us,
it's like the steep grant.
yeah,
Right, well, it's like the steep grant, we got the steep grant approved, steep grant, they wanted a shovel-ready project. Shovel-ready project, we
I
gave them
know.
a shovel-ready project last August. We got the money in April,
I know.
so prices went up.
They give you 2 weeks to apply for
So-
something, and then you wait for a year.
I know,
It's,
And you can't give them a ballpark price, you have to give them
I know, but you have to have-
$443,712.
and 52 cents.
And then a year from now, it went up 100 grand, they said, well,
too bad,
you gotta put the money up,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
sorry.
That's,
But you know what, 400,000 is better than coming out of this pocket, it came out of this pocket, but that's okay,
Yeah,
so.
okay,
okay.
But we're dealing with the state, so you have to,
I know,
It is
Yes,
what it
we're
is.
not surprised, but, so those are just some quick updates on those grants. The Simpson property, how, did they review the survey by any chance?
I'm waiting on John Paul.
Okay,
So, but, what, just as a quick update, so what had happened there was, what was her word, ping, I think. The person at Deep was having an issue pinging her surveyor.
Yeah.
Pinging?
Pinging.
That's what she
I
said.
guess that's,
Pinging.
that's,
Pinging?
It's the new
pinging.
term.
That's
I guess like reaching.
Technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah, technical ping.
All right.
So, so I said, well, okay, can you ping harder? Because we've been waiting for like years for
3
this
years,
thing.
yeah,
And I'm concerned that it could jeopardize the Audubon grant.
yeah,
And, the town is not expected to come out of pocket any monies for this acquisition. Now, I've spoken with the lawyer, for the Audubon grant, and we're still fine there, but, so the surveyor finally was reached, up at Deep and came back with some additional comments. So that then pushed back, I then had to push that back on John Paul. One of the things that they wanted is, now this is a relatively large tract of land. They wanted the entire monument set establishing the perimeter of the entire thing. And I think John Paul said, of course, it's July, and it's hot, and I'm gonna go out there and sweat. But he got excited upon reflection, because one side of this parcel is bounded by a stone wall. So
okay, so. it makes
that
it
takes care.
happy.
So he said, oh, the job just got a little easier. I said, that's great. How do we make it happen faster? I don't care about easy or hard. I care about getting this done. And I'm waiting, because we only heard back from them last week.
Right.
Right, so to be fair to him, to be fair to John Paul, this was given to him, I think, on Thursday of the last week. I'd have to check my email, but it was about Thursday last week. And then we did have the 4-day weekend.
Right.
So,
No, but it's just a state, again, I worked with this with dairy for 3 years. Before Pollock, it's just 7 or 8 years we've been working on this damn project.
right,
Terrible.
so
Yeah.
the land's not going anywhere. And,
The only
What did it
concern was
cost us
because
as
of the
taxpayers,
grants.
the state,
But I
village full of people for 7 years working on this.
I
project.
have heard though, way back when, A2 surveys are a problem
Right.
to get in their requirement and all.
Yeah, but
transactions.
7 years.
Yeah,
well,
it says back.
so,
That's bad.
so that's the update there. Once we hear back from John Paul, the Schedule A was amended already to satisfy the questions that they had. So, I think this is the final, famous last words, we're working on it. I'm not gonna give a date, because when I said January passed.
Yes.
You didn't say which year.
I didn't say which year. Some January, so I'm hoping by next month we have final approval from Deep.
I mean, our next meeting is August.
I
15th, so
bet
that
your
gives us-
September meeting, because
Oh, September. okay.
you're not gonna, because August is like a month off, right? You're supposed to take,
So-
most municipalities take off in August.
There
And
we-
what-
there's still time, there's still time to postpone.
Can Audubon's attorney exert?
Because the Deep's already said to Audubon, well, if we don't like what's in your easements, then you better change them, or we're not gonna give this money.
I'm surprised they're still wanting to play with us
You know,
after 7 years.
Because again, the distinction is Audubon wants the land preserved for the bees,
Right.
and Deep wants the land preserved for passive recreation purposes.
Mhm.
And passive recreation doesn't necessarily jive with the bees. Right,
As long as everybody
So-
that wants to give us money, we'll take it.
so.
4 months.
Yeah. That's the key, so
Okay.
everything's sort of in a limbo
Hmm.
state, but we
Jeepers.
keep trying, to get it all done.
Okay.
Since this is a special meeting, we cannot bring anything forward to the table, so can I have a motion
Motion
to
to
adjourn?
Okay.
Okay.
Is an accounts payable person been hired or interviewed at least?
Hold on, we are now adjourned.
Now we're
We
off.
voted.
Okay,
We have now
I-
adjourned.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.